Does somebody need to have a designer or a Shopify expert to get started on Shopify?
Like, that's what's nice about, and you don't have to work with us. There's so many professionals that you can work with, but like, that is one of the nice things about working with experts. If it's in your budget, you really do have to be mindful of that in the beginning. You really do. Because it's easy to go overboard in the beginning otherwise, but if and when you can afford it, it's all of those tiny little things that you didn't know, and things that can really make an impact in your business. So yeah, off topic, but I kind of am off topic. So
that actually leads in perfectly to the next question, which is, if somebody is just starting out on Shopify, you said when you have the budget, but does somebody need to have a designer or a Shopify expert to get started on Shopify? Like, is having a designer build their Shopify store something that they really need? Like, or at what point would you decide to hire someone?
Roulette, who's going to take it?
I'm going to say. So my point of view on this one is, yes, it's always great if the budget allows to have a proper logo designed and have a proper brand image and colors. That is the cornerstone of a brand and brand identity to your customers. If you're just starting out, you can DIY it. There are some great resources out there that can assist you to do a text-only logo, pick some colors, create a color palette. They are out there. Obviously, if you can afford it, investing in your brand is the best thing you can do for yourself to further it. But if you can't right now and you need to not cut corners, but just mind the budget, then there are some DIY that you can invest and have some graphics, use Canva, a platform, graphic editing software like Canva is great to help you start off with some graphics, and just make sure you pick a font that is actually, I think this is not putting into fonts, but picking a font that is not a free font, but commercially, and then doing that instead of working with a free font. But I'm sure we can dive into fonts a little bit further. But yes, so if you've got the money, invest in a brand, invest in a full-fledged logo that's done by a professional. But if not, you can DIY.
Yeah, as far as branding, the branding aspect goes, don't be afraid of like a temporary logo. It's not the end of the world. Your business is going to evolve so much. So just really be mindful of that. Like, if, for example, say this isn't your first business and you are loaded, or you're wealthy, or whatever, you have money from your other businesses, from whatever else is going on, and you're wanting to start a business like really the right way from day one in every aspect, then that's when you can definitely afford to, invest larger and help. But so then there's also the technical aspects, of course, of like setting up your Shopify website itself. And as far as that goes, I would say the same thing. But here's the other thing is, we're sitting here saying that it's extremely user-friendly and easy to set up. And it is for most people. Not to make anyone feel bad if it doesn't feel that way for you, but there are also a lot of people who really struggle regardless. And so another really important aspect of business is constantly being aware of your strengths and weaknesses, and knowing when, okay, this is going to take me so much time, energy, effort, hair loss, because I'm going to be pulling it out, whatever it is, like at that point, like hire it out. Now, you may want to find somebody more affordable. If you're just starting out and you are still in that budget, but the tech savviness isn't there. Now, here's another thing though to consider if tech savvy is an issue, is you want to make sure that whoever helps you, well, either them or some other resource is going to be available to you, but whether it's a course or, because somebody can set this up for you, they can set it up to the nines too. I mean, it can be amazing, beautiful, all the bells and whistles, but you're also going to need to know how to use it and maintain it. So you want to always keep that in mind. So, you know, some agencies might provide a certain level of, either like we do, you know, we offer free training videos to our clients. We also, during our phone calls, are totally open books. I mean, like, we will show you how to do anything you want, really, because we want to set our clients up to be able to manage their site on their own from there if they want to. Some clients don't want to, and that's fine too. But anyway, again, obviously there's so many different professionals you can work with. So it's just about figuring out your budget and just, you know, but I would say before you disqualify yourself and think that you can't do it, at least get in there, poke around and try, you know what I mean? See what you can do, because there's nothing wrong with slapping up a temporary Canva logo that you don't love, but it'll do for now, and just getting out there and starting to bring in some money. Because really, as a business, like, the sooner that you can make profit and paying yourself specifically a top priority, the better, because it's too easy to go years without like hitting that profit or being able to pay yourself. So yeah.
Cool. So
you get so in depth.
I think just to add to that last point, Angela, is that don't wait for perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect is not it might never arrive because you're constantly evolving. So just get it out there, start going, and perfect might come, it might not come, but you will keep evolving and you'll get to that point where you are happy with it and love it. So just don't be scared to start.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Don't let the idea of perfect, which is never going to happen, hold you back.
Exactly.
Yes, totally.
So digging in a little bit more into some like specific things about Shopify when you get started. One of the first things that we talk about with clients is their theme that they're going to be on. And there are free themes out there, and there's paid themes out there, and there's all kinds of things. So what would you recommend to somebody starting out? What are the things that they should take into consideration when choosing a Shopify theme?
So Karla and I are both already laughing because we could literally have an all-out brawl over our favorite themes. She loves Icon and I love Turbo. But okay, so I'm sure we both have a lot to say about themes, but a few tips just so that I don't take like literally an hour and a half to go over all of them. When you are looking, okay, first of all, you want to pick a theme that is either directly from Shopify, because those ones in their theme store are vetted. And, you know, we know the quality is there. We know that there's support available from those theme developers, because you can get themes, you know, elsewhere, but you don't know if you can trust the coding, which can cause all kinds of issues on your website. And it just don't do it. Just learn from my lessons. I think you have a kid over there. It's so funny. Okay. And then also, but we also like out of the sandbox here too, which like you can't get Turbo directly on Shopify. It's one of their premium themes. You have to go to outofthesandbox.com to get it. So that is another company that we trust here at Hot Mess as well. And Turbo in particular is actually industry-wide, probably the most commonly like used starting point for the most advanced websites out there. But anyway, and Karla's just like, don't you touch my icon. Okay, so make sure you're getting it from a good source. And then when you're looking at themes, just really consider I would start with thinking of the things that you want your website to be able to do versus, how things look, because that stuff can be customized through design, through coding development. But you really want to make sure the bones of what's important to you is there. So, when you're looking at a theme, add something, go to a collection, add something to cart, look at the product page itself, all of those things, and consider whether the tiniest details are things that you love or don't. And every theme is going to have its quirks. Like, you're never going to find a theme that's like drop dead perfect for you. It's figuring out what's going to be the best starting point and then building upon it from there, And as far as paid versus free, I think that just kind of goes back to, where you're at in business and your level of tech savvy as well. If you are going to be doing this yourself, again, starting with a basic minimal theme. Minimal is the free theme that we use and recommend for our clients. But for the ones that want a free theme, I think that would be better than rushing into a paid theme that you're not ready for and could be really hard for you to set up. And just, you may not know what's going to really be important about your website yet, because you're just starting. You don't know like the things that are going to matter to you and the things that are going to, that your customers are going to struggle with. And that's the kind of stuff that you're not going to know till, a year in, really, so yeah.
Yeah, showdown of the themes here. Like, it can be full day discussion just on themes. But Angela's made some really great points. And when you first download Shopify and you're just starting out, they always preload debut. But as Angela mentioned, the free theme of choice that we love at Hot Mess is called Minimal. And then just that that when you're starting off with a free theme, you are more limited in what you can do within the theme. But when you're just starting out, you don't want the whole smorgasbord, because it can really confuse you. There's nooks and crannies and menus and tabs and sections and blocks. It can feel overwhelming when you're just starting out. And picking that paid theme and you're not fully set on it, you might end up wasting some money and having to buy another theme in the end, because one would be more suited for you. Go play around in Shopify's theme store. It's got lovely filters on the side where you can play and say, I want my theme to be able to do A, B, and C. And it's going to kick out some examples that can do that. Look at them, play around on those theme editors. And as Angela mentioned, whatever is between the header and the footer, that is design. That is what you pull in. The way that looks and feels, that is design, that is brand identity. But how the menu works, how the product page looks, that is what the theme will offer you. So when you're just starting out, I think fully advocating for a free theme, unless you're working with an expert in the field that can guide you through different themes and theme features before you invest in a theme. Find out what you want out of your store, where your store is going, give it a couple of months, and then decide to take the leap. Keep looking at those themes and then purchase a theme, and then dive into each and every section. And again, here, it is key for you to kind of like just go and scratch around, because you're not going to know what the theme can do unless you go in there as well. Well, after you've purchased, the full extent of your theme, unless you go and press every button, click every little box, see what it does. So yeah, from my perspective, start with a free theme, feel your brand, then upgrade into a paid theme.
Yeah. And we have a cool resource on the blog that has our recommended themes, like the ones that we love and use the most, like the minimal free one, the two that you already mentioned, Turbo and Icon, and a couple others as well. So you can check out that resource for more info about themes and the kinds of questions that we've talked about, what you should think about. So in addition to themes, something that a shop owner can do to customize their store for their needs is through different apps. So are there some, which is like a whole can of worms, that's also a long chat that you could have, but what are, like, do you need apps as a beginner? Which apps would somebody maybe want to look at adding to their store when they're just getting started?
So, Karla, I want to shake you. You have been frozen. There, you're back.
There,
It
you're back.
works.
You
It works.
were frozen. Yeah, you just had to shake her, literally.
Oh man. Okay. So, apps.
And now you're frozen again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can of worms. I think to start off with, I just want to put one sentence out there, and then Angela, it's just
okay.
when you're doing apps, make sure you are fully utilizing the app you are downloading before adding additional apps. Because when you start adding apps, they can stack up and they can cost you so much money before you even blink. So make sure whatever apps you go with, you actually fully utilize the features within said app. And then if it doesn't offer what you need, add extra. So that's kind of my first little tidbit, and then Angela.
Yes, absolutely. And it ties back into a similar scenario about the theme, where it's a good idea to start with that free theme while you're learning everything and getting going and learning what you need and want and what's important and what's not and all of that stuff. And the same thing goes for apps, because it's really easy to hear about this app that's working for someone in this way and this app. But first of all, if you're new to the industry, you have way more than enough to learn already, and your time and energy and resources are not unlimited. None of ours are. So you want to make sure that you're really focusing on what matters, in the beginning, which is quite frankly revenue, and driving traffic to that website. So before you even think about apps and what they could do for you, again, just get up, get going, see what needs come to you. Apps should not be, normally anyway, they should not be like on a whim. It should be when you notice and you get a few customers that are emailing you about a specific problem they're having with your website. Note that down and then think about, is there a app that can help me with this? Or think about an issue that you're having in your own business and you're like, I wonder if there's some way I could make this process right here easier. That's when it's time to look for an app. But not only can they add up cost-wise sometimes, if they're a paid monthly app, but it's also just about like, are you actually going to make the most out of that app in terms of your marketing strategy? Like if it has something to do with marketing anyway. I mean, even when you're looking at, adding reviews or adding a loyalty program. Okay, those two both sound straight out of the box like, oh yeah, I need those. No, you don't, because what happens when somebody hits your website and you're so new or have such few products that you have no reviews, and instead every single product page looks like a dud because you have no action going on, or everything is showing as 0 stars, because you're not. Now there's a ton of different apps. Some of them won't show stars at all unless they have rated. I mean, these are all things to consider. But that's another reason not to jump into an app, because even when you're thinking about like, I want reviews, well, what is actually going to be most impactful? I mean, for example, there's a couple apps that will pull in your Facebook page reviews in one place. So that way you're still showing that you can be trusted through reviews, but you're also hitting 2 birds with 1 stone as far as, trying to get people to just leave reviews on your Facebook page. And then it also doesn't matter if you're not getting reviews on particular products, because also remember, in fast fashion, if you're in fast fashion anyway, these items are in and out so quickly. You're not likely to even really, most products probably won't have any reviews, initially. So, but in that sense, it's probably just not something that's worth your time and energy. And same with the loyalty program, like wait until you have a little bit of a customer base going. Like you can't have loyal customers using loyalty points until you have loyal customers, So wait until you're going to be able to make the most of an app like that. Now that's why it's hard because, we help business owners at all levels, brand new to, killing it, and they're ready to just really revamp in a way that they have never been able to do before. So, that's when it's really time to look at like, hey, you're getting hundreds of visitors a day, maybe more. Like, what can we do to get people to add more to their cart, to actually check out? That's when it's time to think about some strategic apps too, or again, things that might make your life a little bit easier. But in the beginning, you don't know any of that stuff. And you have enough to learn that you just don't want to get off focus, because it's also like the shiny object syndrome, like it's really easy to see like, oh, they're saying this, and like, oh, they're saying that. And then before you know it, all of your time is spent on all of these little things, and you haven't brought in a dime because you're not actually focusing on the one thing that matters, so yeah.
That upkeep. I mean, whenever
apps
here's upkeep.
Also, upkeep, maintenance, and they can also slow your site down too if you have too many. So you want to be careful about that. Sometimes apps can clash with each other or with certain themes, and then you need to bring in a developer, and then your site breaks, and then no one can shop.
Yeah, make sure you also, when you are looking at apps, look at those apps when you now are ready to take the leap and look at some apps. There is probably an app for pretty much anything you can think of out there. But
our client just added a new TikTok feed app.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, that's awesome. I saw them popping up. They are great. I mean, are they worth it? Does the app have reviews? What is the feedback like? Do they offer support? You don't want to download an app that's going to break your theme, and then who's going to fix it because they don't offer support? So make sure you actually do some research into the apps when you are ready to take that leap. Right out of the box, you can run without any apps. You totally could. And you can build on that. We have a couple of base apps that we find that we work with that we always almost recommend for clients. And it is just to make it easier for you to run the store. But again, that adds up. So if you're not ready to take that step, just go with it with nothing, and then add one, maximize the usage, get everything out of it, and roll from there. It's just the little things that add up. And as Angela's mentioned, that time, your time is precious, and you need to be focusing on getting those people to check out more than worrying about, do I need A, B, and C? Do I need to get at loss for an idea here now on
you need your TikTok feed on your website.
Yeah.
Do you need a TikTok feed? Are you gonna be selling on TikTok? And I think it's just going back to that source.
Need more? Check out the blog at hotmessblog.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel too. Cheers!